You are listening to FTNS, world's first fitness radio. Online at ftns.co. Live the FTNS lifestyle. Follow the FTNS 4-step foundation of focus, train, nourish, sustain. A holistic approach to a balanced health of mind, body, and spirit. Focus. Envision your goal to get inspired. Train. Learn how to stay active and use proper techniques so you'll see results. Nourish. Proper nutrition and hydration are keys to staying healthy and energized. Sustain. The essential 3 R's to sustain your routine. Rest and relax to recover. Build a fitness lifestyle on the FTNS Foundation. Thank you for breaking new ground with FTNS, world's first fitness radio. FTNS Radio reaches out to over 70 million online radio listeners in North America who can log in via the web at ftns.co from any computer, mobile device, or download the free FTNS iPhone app. FTNS Radio will include a wide range of shows such as strength training, bodybuilding and figure, nutrition, motivation, family, youth, elderly fitness, wellness, lifestyle fitness, interviews with professionals and enthusiasts, and much more. Programming will contain a mixture of live studio shows that encourage listeners to call 650-ASK-FTNS or tweet in. Shows hosted over the phone, as well as remote recorded shows where our hosts travel to the story. FTNS Radio is the missing link to help make fitness personal and create a stronger community. FTNS helps listeners to focus, train, nourish, sustain, and foster the fitness community. Follow FTNS on Facebook.com/GoFTNS. Stay tuned for more exciting new shows as we build the fitness community brick by brick. Tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern for Fit You. Your hosts, John and Kelly, will discuss fitness, nutrition, and a lifestyle that will fit you. At noon Eastern, it's time for Jumpstart. Chad and Kat will help you sort through all the fitness myths with the experts in a high-energy format that will definitely pump you up. Listen in to Your Health is Your Wealth with Dr. Cindy at 1 p.m. Eastern. Naturopathic Dr. Cindy Anderson will help you understand your body from a holistic approach. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, listen to The Nutrition Scoop with nutritionist Jerry Zatkoff. She will cover the latest and ever-changing nutrition information. The Body Shop at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's no accident. Hosts Andre Bricks, St. Clair, and Brian Canone share with you the reality of the bodybuilding and fitness modeling industry as they follow challengers through the Fitness Atlantic competition. This is FTNS. Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS, world's first fitness radio, will keep you moving. The Body Shop connects you with the hottest fitness models in the world. Learn the backstage secrets that most successful bikini divas, fitness models, and bodybuilders use to dominate their competition and land on the covers of magazines. Only here at the Body Shop will we allow you to listen and talk to the best of the best in fitness competition. If you're passionate about bodybuilding and fitness, you have found your new home. All of us here at FTNS Radio would like to welcome you to the Body Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your host, Andre Bricks St. Clair.
Yes, thank you so much for that beautiful round of applause. Welcome to the Body Shop. Once again, I'm in here with my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone.
What's up, Andre?
What's up, B? Hey, listen, man. We 30 days out now.
30 days out.
30 days out.
Before we even talk about that.
Okay.
That chicken wrap was pretty good.
You know what?
But it was like an appetizer.
I'm missing something on it, though, man. Since I'm not competing this April 16th, right? I needed bacon, mayonnaise. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, they gave you a salad on the side. I don't know. I was wondering why you ate the salad.
Well, you know what? I needed the roughage.
You ate it with your hands, too. Bare hands.
Listen, that's how a man eats a salad, all right? If you're going to eat a salad, fellas, do not use a fork, all right? It doesn't look right. Take it by the hand, scoop it up, put it in your mouth, be done with it.
Oh, man.
There you go. Beautiful round of applause.
Yeah, so we're 30 days out from the show. Everything's knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Fantastic. You
know,
right. Everything's coming together. Everything's coming together. You know, it's like the A-Team, when a plan comes together.
Hannibal. There you go.
But no, it's absolutely. You can't even hope for the things that are coming together with this. Sent out an email blast to show you that video that Tony Horton did.
That's it.
And, I had one email subscriber that wrote back and said, "Oh, okay, funny video, but now you're getting ready for the swimming tournament." I'm like, "No, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But you cannot go against 50 million DVDs that were sold."
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
So, when Tony Horton's coming, and I'll tell you, people are just coming in. We're going to eventually have to stop the workout part because we're getting close to 200 people doing the P90X.
Okay.
And then we'll still meet and greet will come in so people can go up. Everybody that comes through the door can go right up to him and get a professional photo done by Greg.
Okay.
Greg Geiger's going to do all the pictures and a free download. So you just go up. You don't have to bring your camera phone. You don't have to try to bring your stuff. We're doing it for you, and we're not charging you.
Okay.
It's part of the package you're coming through.
Now, would it be fair to assume or fair to say that if you're going to have your picture taken with Tony Horton, that it is okay to ban your friend taking the actual iPhone photo or Evo photo or whatever?
Make it go nice and fast and be professional about it. So there's absolutely no need to do that.
Good.
Yeah, so people come through and the line will go through. We will have his books available. Bring it. So there will be a table above that, too, so you can stop first, get one of his books, bring that over. He'll sign it. Basically, from what I hear, people bring through their before and after pictures for Tony to sign. They bring P90Xs. They bring things that mean a lot to them.
Right.
A lot of people have seen success through his program. I mean, the following is unbelievable.
Hey, 50 million DVDs can prove that the following is unbelievable,
Yeah, and, people respect him. Most people. I mean, this one guy jokes about it, but I send out my email to, 10,000 people, and one person has, a little response, but he still liked the video.
No, okay. Let me ask you about this one person. And you don't have to say his name, because we don't want
I don't even know who the guy is. Right. I personally don't know him. He's on my email list.
Okay. Now, when you get somebody like this gentleman to make these type of comments, obviously it's jealousy-based.
Well, he probably would be happy if there was a big, gassed-up bodybuilder guy that he's probably a fan of. That's probably what he expects from a fitness bodybuilding show. He probably expects to see a typical guy, 300 pounds, ripped to shreds, that he would be a fan of. But that's the small portion of the fitness spectrum.
That's a very small portion.
Yeah.
A very small portion. Unfortunately, when you have those type of guys, the typical 300-pound bodybuilder coming in there 4 or 5, even 3%, you're sending the wrong message. In my opinion, you're sending out the wrong message for the kind of show that you're putting on. You're promoting natural fitness.
Well, I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody who's actually went to high school with Tony Horton, and he went to Trumbull High School, and somebody was talking to someone else at the high school and said, yeah, Tony Horton's coming, he's going to a bodybuilding show. And we have a professional bodybuilder that graduated from here just recently, he's winning all these shows, and it's like, so she's telling me this, I go, I know that guy, he's a great guy, it's not what I do. She looks at me like, what do you mean it's not what you do? You run a bodybuilding show. There's a difference between what I do and that. Okay?
Exactly.
So, we're really trying to break in and really mainstream it. I wouldn't call it selling out. It's not what we do. We've been a natural bodybuilding show forever, and 80% of the people in the show are female.
Right.
It's more of a fitness, female beauty pageant than anything else.
Okay.
But along those lines, we had a workshop today. Had a great turnout. Over 20 people came to the workshop.
There you go.
This morning.
That's right.
And we had about 4 guys that I worked with that are doing the natural bodybuilding section of the show. So, they're all can be fitness models. And I talked to them today, and they don't. And what I said about the WBFF, the cool part of it is they make fitness modeling cool.
Right.
which we've seen. It's a lot cooler than what other fitness modeling shows we've seen in the past.
Well, I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I do like about the WBFF and what they've done with the fitness modeling, aside from making it cool, to me, it actually kind of turned my opinion around about the fitness modeling. Me coming from the bodybuilding world, me coming from the powerlifting world, I used to look at this fitness model guys, and no offense to anyone out there that's doing the fitness modeling. As I said, it has turned my opinion around. But prior to that, I used to look at them like, are you serious? You went and got that ripped, you're walking out there in your board shorts and you're flexing anyway. Why not step up and compete as a bodybuilder? But now I actually see it. I get it. I see the direction that the WBFF is taking, and it seems like more shows are starting to actually follow suit.
Well, we're getting a lot more of the natural bodybuilders crossing over into fitness modeling this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with criteria. It's masculine.
Right.
That's a big word that's been added with the WBFF, that's masculine.
Right.
And not only that, but we've seen fitness modeling shows before, too, where the guys don't get talked about, they don't get mentioned, we don't know who they are. But now it's like all of a sudden there's a lot of publicity around male fitness modeling. So it's picking up, it's taking off, and which leads us into the guy, one of the people we want to talk to today.
Actually, I know one of the person that you want to talk about today, and he happens to be one of the most successful fitness models.
Well, I met him out at the show in Toronto, the WBFF Worlds, and, I didn't really know much about him, as a competitor, but we started talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, I've done this. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And none of them had to do with shows. It was actually his first show.
Wait, you trying to tell me one of the most successful cover models, fitness models,
yes,
to ever bless the industry?
Yeah.
His first show was the WBFF Worlds back in Toronto?
Yeah, placed second in the show.
And that was back in 2010. So it wasn't even that long ago.
No.
Unbelievable.
No. Now the question was, and this is why we got to bring this guy on. His name's David Kimberly.
Dave.
Got to talk to this guy and find out, you have all this success. Why do you want to compete?
There we go. Well, you know what? Let's hear directly from the man. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Body Shop, Dave Kimberly.
Hey, you guys.
What's happening out there, Dave?
Well, it's raining in Hollywood right now.
Oh, man, look at you. Look at you, man. Listen, bring the sunshine up here. It's still cold where we're at, you know what I mean? So send some of that sunshine this way, and y'all can keep the rain, all right? All right, now, Dave, Brian was just telling me that your first competition was the WBFF Worlds in Toronto. Okay? Now, you're one of the most successful fitness models out there. Why did you decide to compete?
It was a personal decision. I had been edified in publications and been very fortunate. God only knows why it was happening. But I felt like I kind of skipped bases. I kind of made it to third base without covering first and second.
Okay.
And as I was wondering personally, as I'm sending out a pretty great PDF file with my publications and kind of my accomplishments in a short period of time, and it was a pretty decent sales pitch to a supplement manufacturer as to why they should attach themselves to me and what I can do for them. And I wasn't getting any bites. I'd had some conversations, and so I opened up the magazine again, a magazine I'd already read, all of them, and I started looking. And I noticed that the guys that weren't just sponsored by supplements, weren't just getting free supplements from the manufacturer. I've been offered several of those. But the guys that looked like they were making their house paint, being attached to a manufacturer, they all had pro next to their name. They all had an ex-NFL player or some sort of edification through competition.
Right.
And I did not have that. And so I had to call myself out. Some guys tell me, my managers tell me, Dave, you got more to lose than gain. And I looked at him and I said, look, this is personal. I'm not going to step down. I'm not going to, fitness modeling, is what I do full time.
Right.
And I don't have another job. I've been able to take care of my needs, but no wants. And so as I was looking to try to take care of my wants, basically I had to compete and see if I could get picked up by a manufacturer, and it happened. So in the end, it was basically personal and a last-ditch effort to make sure I'm not leaving this industry without trying as hard as I could.
I understand. Well, you know what? First off, congratulations. Do you mind telling our listeners at the Body Shop which line actually picked you up?
It was actually Body Logic. They're a company out of Canada. They're an umbrella company under the Winning Combination, and they brought me in to kind of take care of the family brand. You know, they've got the hardcore stuff, and they've got, you know, your different, you know, kind of like who's it up there? Muscle Tech's owned by Iovate. So, you know, they're marketing to different people, and I was picked up for more of the stuff you buy at the Shoppers Mart, or you go into a Rite Aid and you see a product in there. It's kind of made for everybody, which was right up my alley because I am fitness.
Right.
I'm not a bodybuilder, and I'm all natural. So I was really kind of happy to be picked up by somebody that believes in what I believe in, that, you know, you can swallow some pills and vitamins and eat right and still body build and still build a physique. Body modifies, like I like to refer to it. And,
I like that. I like that terminology.
So yeah, they're a great company. I'm super happy with the owner. I kind of told them, look, you know, I've had some conversations with larger manufacturers, and I don't want to be a number.
Right.
I want to know the guy that's writing my check. I want to be friends with the company. I want to see the facility, know what's in the product. They've been really good to me.
So you basically want to take more so of a hands-on approach as opposed to basically just lending your name to a product.
Yeah, I wanted to be, first I wanted to trust who is going to have my name and how they're going to represent me.
Right.
And by talking with the guy that makes those decisions, who writes the checks to the other guys that are going to be doing that, it made me feel really good about the whole thing. And then, you know, as far as what he represents and what we're doing, as far as not just supplementation, manufacturing, we've got some kind of neat projects we're working on that'll be unfolding that I can't really say much about right now.
Okay.
And that kind of excited me. I wanted to, you know, to be a part of a bigger scheme of things and help launch the fitness. You know, you guys are dead on. Fitness has taken over. They call us fitness models. They go, you know, they laugh at us at the beach, like you said.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, like when I made those comments and when I was expressing my views previously to it being changed, okay, I feel as though I represent the vast majority of people out there. Like, they will see somebody like you, okay, on the cover of Muscle and Fitness and be like, man, this guy is ripped, shredded, and then they're going to find out, okay, he's a fitness model, you know, and then the whole stigma that revolves around that is, you know, it really doesn't count, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Paul Dillette. He invited myself and my co-host Brian Canone. You know, he invited us out to the Quebec show. He gave me the opportunity to MC the show, and then I got to see exactly what fitness modeling was really all about, and that really changed my views on it.
And you know, you're not alone. I got to say, this really affected me. I'm from Utah, and bodybuilding's pretty big in Utah. There's not a lot of fitness models going on there. And, you know, I'm just a punk in Utah lifting weights, and somehow, you know, I get edified through some publications, get really, really lucky. And I'm in the local diet sport was what, you know, the guy got me started with a little bit of nutrition, you know, when the nurse found my money, and he talked to me. And as I was showing my cover, I was saying, hey, bro, this, you know, thank you very much. One of the bigger bodybuilders, one of the bigger names, Mr. Utah, comes walking in, and he looks at me and he says, so I guess they're putting smaller guys on the covers now, huh? Oh,
wow.
Shoot down your dreams.
Now, when Mr. Utah walked in and he made that type of comment after all of your hard work and everything that you've been through to get to the status of where you're at, and we're going to just briefly touch on that in a second, but when he came in there and he made that type of comment, like, what was your reaction and how did you feel inside?
Bro, it took all the wind out of my sails. I bring it up now because it's fresh in my heart.
Right.
Yeah.
I was sitting at 183 on that cover, and I had come down from almost 230 pounds.
Wow.
I was really heavy. I was 26% body fat, by the time I lost all my weight, I was down to 170 something, and then I put on a few muscles and sent my pictures around, and got into fighting a long story short. But at that point, right now I compete where I take my pictures right around 200, and I felt like it was a huge carrot put in front of me that I'm not just a fitness model, that I can body build, that I can put 2 inches on my calves, that I can put some density in my chest, and put another inch in my arm, whatever. I remember being on set, the guy saying, "Flex your traps." That was another thing that really got me.
Right.
And I was like, I am. I'm on set, and in my whole dream, I'm in the Weeder building, and the guy saying, "Flex your traps," and I'm giving you what I got, buddy. Those little comments, they do, man. They really make you want to at least build that symmetrical body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, now listen, I do got to cut to commercial, but when I come back, all right, Dave, one of the questions I want to ask you is, how did you get started? Because you briefly touched on the fact that you were not always in the best of shape. And as you say, you were 26% body fat. So when we come back from commercial, I want to know how you got started, what inspired you, and what are your goals upcoming. So ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Body Shop. I have Mr. Dave Kimberly on the line, and we'll be right back.
FTNS is excited to announce 3 new shows. Weeknight 6 p.m. Boomers Rock. Get up, get out, keep rocking. Life starts at 50. Motivation and advice for the next 50 years of your life. Hosted by personal trainer Tom Batt. Tuesday 7 p.m. Rowing Illustrated. Hour of Power, where real rowers talk rowing. Hosted by champion rower Sean Wolf. Listen and learn about the world of rowing as Sean talks to the top competitors in the world. Wednesday, 7 p.m., Dr. Sid. Learn how to improve function and performance and avoid injuries just like the Olympians. As host Dr. Sid McCauley, chiropractor and sports rehabilitation specialist, shares his state-of-the-art techniques. Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS. World's first fitness radio will keep you moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Body Shop with your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone. And on the line, we have one of the most successful fitness models to ever grace the industry, and that is Mr. David Kimberly. Dave, before the break, I asked you, how did you get started in this? Because you briefly said that you were not always in the best of shape, roughly coming in about 26% body fat. You landed the cover of a great magazine, and then you was approached by the Mr. Utah bodybuilder, and he took all the wins out of your sails. So what I want to know is, what got you started into fitness?
In less words, I've been a contractor most of my life.
Okay.
I was adopted, had some crappy parents. Dad was a Hell's Angel, mom's a prostitute, being real. And I got taken over by the state. And a nice family found me, and our family jokes, they bought me. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I remember from my childhood that was a positive was my uncle was Mr. Utah. He was the good brother of the terrible dad that I had. And he was a banker, and he lifted weights, and I thought, oh my gosh, how cool would it be to be big and handsome and have muscles? And I remember hanging off his bicep. He was the ultimate 80s bodybuilder.
Right.
And I was a fan. I really was. And as I entered a different infrastructure, different family, different things, the other family disappeared, acknowledging that I had a new start now. So I kind of grew up and had some problems being I was, in a sense, socially inept, having lived in the crazy bin for 2 years. I lived at Primary Children's Hospital. And anyway, I ended up around 22 years old in construction, thinking this is not what I want to do. I started making a decent amount of money, and the market was booming. And I kept doing it for like 8 years. I had the older guys tell me, you don't want to be doing this in 10 years. And we walk in stilts, and we run a job.
Right.
Thinking, what else can I do? And about 3.5 years ago, the market crashed. I'm sure you guys are all aware.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone lost everything. And I was one of those guys that bought a home and had a construction business that was paying from home, and the house depreciated. So now I owe $100,000 on the house. I got to go to the table with the check to sell it. And the business that I'm paying for is null. So I basically went bankrupt.
Oh.
And, girls revolve around security. Not to throw them under the bus, but seriously,
truth be told,
my dog. It's the beginning of a good country song. So I had nothing to do, man. I mean, being real, I had nothing to do during the day. And so I just started going to the gym. Guy called me. It was really quite symbolic to me. He calls me up and says, hey, come to the gym. You don't owe us any money. Just start up paying again. And it was cheaper than drinking. It was cheaper than any sort of self-mutilation that I could find.
Right.
And what I did is I was in a sense for about a month just kicking my own butt. And I was doing drinking, punching windshields out. I was taking out my aggression. Very immature, and I felt like I was 18 years old. And anyway, so I called myself out once again, and I went to the gym. I got my body fat tested. I wore a hoodie. I was super embarrassed to even be walking in there. And I found out how angry I really was. And about 9 months later, through all that anger, a girl called me up. Well, it was about 5 months after I'd lost the 50 pounds, basically, and started to, I was wearing my skin pretty thin, but I didn't really have any muscles.
Okay.
Guy didn't show up to set, whatnot, and an ex-girlfriend called me up, same one, actually. And, hey, I'm a model on this set, and they need you to come stand next to this blender. There's a Blendtec blender, and they'll pay you $500. Dude didn't show up. Come on in. So I went in, and I really got a glimpse of an industry that pays somebody to look a certain way and to help them sell a message or a product. So what did I do? I went home and thought, that's the greatest thing in the world. Now I'm an actor. I'm a this, I'm a that, and that's just not how it works. So I didn't have any pictures, and I went to the local agencies, and modeling is not big in Utah. So every agency I went to, their whole infrastructure to set up so they can stay afloat and out of the red is to charge you to be a model. So you give them $200 or $300 a month. They send you to some classes that are just not worth it, and they give you a photographer that's terrible, and they charge you way too much money for it.
Right.
As I had these conversations with a couple of local agencies, I was so disheartened. Are you guys kidding me? I am bankrupt and I want to make money, and you tell me I'm going to pay money? What is this? So I backdoored the whole thing, and that's kind of how I've done my entire career, actually, is I found a photographer to shoot me, took one picture out of 500 that looked good, and I took it to another photographer, a good one. And he then saw a little bit of something in me and shot me.
Right.
Well, I took that, finally got an agency, walked in and said, my fifth one, I was like, look, you guys, I'm not paying you any money. We'll cut this conversation short. I want to work. And they put me on their website. And I did my own thing, started sending my pictures around, and finally made the desk of Muscle and Fitness. And I went to the Olympia and stood in front of the Muscle and Fitness has a booth at the Olympia. You go in there and you take your shirt off, and the girl takes a picture of you. And boy, I was dialed for what I knew how to do. And I thought, for sure, I'm in. Well, she didn't call me for 6 months. So disheartening. Again, you just get kicked in the teeth. Well, 6 months later, I've still been training, and they called me up and said, hey, come be in the magazine. Flew me down first class, put me in a boxing gym, kicked the crap out of me. I tried as hard as I could. You can imagine it's like the first time you win the championship. I don't think you ever try as hard as the first time.
That's true. That's very true.
At every step on that treadmill, every bite, everything just goes into that one thought of your dream, standing down there in the Weider building,
Right.
So I went down there and shot and took some pictures they liked. And I asked the guy, how do you get on a cover? I'll never forget this. I asked Tom, how do you get on a cover? And he looked at me and he said, stand there, shut up, basically.
Wow. Wow.
He did it with tact. The guy's a stud, right? But he's like, I'm working, bro. This isn't a cover shoot. This is your first shoot, obviously. Just stand there and do your thing. So I did it, and thank you for not shooting me for asking, and was very humbled and super stoked to even be in the magazine.
Right.
2 weeks later, they called me up, and this is what I really learned about fitness modeling, why it is different than bodybuilding. 2 weeks later, they called me up. I'm sitting in Vegas at a convention doing some public speaking, and I just had all-you-can-eat, literally a $50 all-you-can-eat meal. And I get a call from Erica over at Muscle and Fitness. She says, Dave, basically the guy, the number one rookie of the year, or somebody that's super cool, came in and we took some pictures of them. They can't use them, so we want you to come down and we're going to put you in the cover. I started crying.
And this is right, and this is right after you're at the
meal.
20 pounds after the, I was digging around. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to cut my water. I'm just affect my body, right?
Right.
Of course, it rebounds, and then I don't have anything going on. I'm in Utah. Who's going to be calling me? I already had my Christmas present, so I was down there, and I put on 20 pounds. So I had to own it and say, look, I can't come down there and duplicate what it is you guys saw 2 weeks. And I had to, I'm embarrassed, but it just can't be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually turned down the cover, as I didn't want to have my handshake would then be tainted by my next showing.
Right.
So she called me back 5 minutes later, stunned that I turned it down, and says, look, thank you for being honest. We're going to call in another guy that was in the magazine. You two are all going to compete for it. So you're going to do the morning shoot, he's going to do the evening shoot, and whoever takes the best picture, we're going to give them the cover. That was the other thing. She wanted me to be there in 5 days. So I immediately drove back up to Salt Lake, hopped on the treadmill, killed myself, and probably did a faster muscle exchange and was able to get somewhat lean. You can kind of tell it's a little bit hollow on that cover, but the lesson learned there in fitness modeling is you never know when that phone's going to ring. You have to look the part all year long.
Stay in shape.
Right.
That's basically how I got started. I was able to go down there and beat out my buddy for the cover.
Right. Yeah. Okay, now let's fast forward a little bit, if I may. So you turned down the first cover. They persisted. You wind up getting the first cover through not the most, conventional means and the way to drop all of the excess weight from binge eating, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, that's what I did.
Right. Okay, so now let's fast forward and let's bring it to March 22nd, 2010. And I'm just going to, clue our listeners in. You shoot for the Muscle and Fitness Training Notebook. And this is the fourth time that you've been chosen as the designated training notebook guy. Now, what I mean by that to our fans who are like, okay, well, what's Brick's talking about? The training notebook guy. When you open up the fitness training book, okay, the guy that is flexing the muscle and he has, the red pecs and he has the abs are outlined in yellow and it's showing you exactly which muscle is going to target what based on the exercises. Well, that is who I'm talking to right now, ladies and gentlemen.
That when I showed you the website, that was the one thing that popped, and you couldn't believe that he is the guy on the training notebook.
I will be honest with you, Dave. You know what? I couldn't believe that was really you. I'm sitting here like, okay, you know what? I've read some of these things. I've looked at these photos, and I'm always like, I wonder who they really use. You know what I mean? To illustrate this, and now here I am interviewing Mr. Dave Kimberle. Yeah, that's right. Now, along with you shooting the Fitness Training Notebook, okay, you are the only person, celebrity and non-celebrity alike, to be on the cover of Fitness and Muscle twice last year alone. What does that feel like when you hear somebody basically read back your accomplishments? Because when you're going through it, it may not really sink in. But when somebody says it back to you, like, you know what, you've been an inspiration to me because look at all you've accomplished. What does that feel like?
Buddy, like you said before, you try to discount your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, I look at a cover and I go, wow, you guys think it's great, but I got paid $300. I'm not running to the bank or getting married on that.
Right.
And really wrapping my mind around the edification part and what I can do with that. Took me a minute as I'm not, I'm new to the business of fitness. So I wasn't quite sure how to market, how to brand, how to really do anything with what I was been so blessed to have. You asked me how it really affected me. Hell, it made me religious.
There's nothing wrong with that, though, in all honesty.
No, really. Last night I watched a guy win the fight, and the last thing he did is thank Jesus. I now see why I used to think it was kind of tacky why those guys do that. And I believe in God and everything, but a public stage, why do you gotta push that on everybody? But for me, now I get it.
Now you get it.
You feel so lucky, so blessed, so absolutely. I'm not that special. That guy's special too. We all feel special inside. How is this happening to me?
Right.
So, I've had an experience, I guess, last week where I walked across the street and I called my manager. I said, "Look, buddy, it's game time. You know, I feel it again." I was walked across the street and I thought, right now I'm a sponsored bodybuilder. I'm looking at by the end of the year being on 30 covers.
Talk about it. That's right.
In less than 3 years. You know, I'm coming up in May will be my 3-year training mark where I've actually been my first step. And I really had to own it for a second as I was trying to find a little bit more fuel. The anger running out of my tank as I come in some of these accomplishments. You know, I was using anger and being pissed. I'm angry at the world, and that's my fuel at the gym. I'm mad at my ex-girlfriend, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
And now all that's gone. What fuels this? What's my desire going to come from? How do I want to push these big, heavy metal things above my head and run on that treadmill? And it came from the idea that somebody's paying me for my potential. They've hopped on the bandwagon. They said, "Hey, Kimmerle, we like what you got. We want to attach ourselves to you. Let's see what else you got."
Wow.
And that to me is super, super inspiring, and I never believed it would happen.
No, I mean, absolutely. Okay, now, what is the difference, training-wise, when you're training to be a fitness model and you're going to shoot for a cover, as to now you're getting ready to compete again in a fitness bodybuilding show? How has your training changed, or has it actually changed?
Yes, it has. We were talking about this last night. It's a guy named Max Wedstein, a good friend of mine. He's been on quite a few covers as well. And we were going on about legs.
Okay.
And, you know, you're on a cover, you don't see your legs. You get on the stage of the WBFF,
yep,
your legs matter.
Okay.
And I had to own that. I got on the stage, and I didn't have the best legs up there. And I don't like that. So we go back to bodybuilding. What do I got to do? I got to build my legs. I got to body build.
Right.
So as far as being able to thin your skin and wear above your waist well and carry that smile, that's the magazine. Getting on stage and owning that presentation and standing in front of the judges and getting the crowd into it, and with the thin skin and the symmetry.
Okay.
That's two totally different fields, and that's why I liked my experiences. I was a buck out of water. I got down there in that locker room and I look at these guys. I didn't even know what kind of oil to use. These guys are all cutting water. I didn't even know what cutting water meant. What you guys doing? And that, you know, I kind of got caught up into it. You go put me in front of the camera, and right now I feel like I'm kind of a professional and I can provide what you're paying for.
Right.
Yep.
But when I got on stage the last 3 days and I was talking to those guys, they knew about things that I didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And I started adjusting, like, "Oh, you're cutting water?" Well, I didn't ask somebody how to cut water. I just stopped drinking water.
Wow. Whoa.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
The day of the show, I can't get full.
Right.
I'm doing 150 push-ups, and I can't get a dang thing. I'm going to sit in the corner and hide.
Right.
What the heck? So it's two totally different equations. In the end, they look the same to the average fan or consumer.
Right.
But they're really.
Okay. Now, initially, though, what are you doing differently as you're going to prepare to compete? You know, like when you're shooting for a fitness magazine, you really, you're not really, as you put it, trying to like drop your water or whatever. You're basically just trying to come in there, as ripped as possible. And
Andre, that's the thing. I was at the show, and I remember seeing him hanging outside. When we pulled up, he was outside the door. He opened the door for us to walk in. I didn't know who this guy was. I had no idea. And I remember, his experience too was very different. Like he said, not only just the dieting and cutting water, but even what they do on stage.
Right.
As far as Dave, tell us a little bit about what these guys do on stage. What does a male fitness model do? Okay, so there are 3 different categories. You have your going out, so you got to be dressed up, you're in a suit, whatever your version is I look GQ under that large umbrella.
Right.
And then you've got a swimwear, which is basically your tighter shorts, your posing trunks. You come out and you show that off. Then you have theme wear, which is still, to me, a little bit, I'm not quite sure how to do that. I don't know if you can go out there and be Superman or if you can be whatever. I just know that you right? So I kind of knew what I was getting into. But the kicker is I'm friends with Mariah. She's won the Super Hot Chick Award 2 years in a row from the WBFS.
Super hot chick.
And I said, I've never seen the show before. I've never actually seen the show. I've seen all the footage that I can find on downline, online, and I know the guys that have competed, so I looked at everything, but I couldn't find the entire show. She said, well, look, I bought the one that I won. So the night before, 2 nights before the actual contest, I finally get to see what it is I'm about to do. And as I'm watching this guy come out, and he actually won his show, his name's Chris, he's wearing the exact outfit that I bought. I wanted to die.
Oh, man.
I think I watched it. It was like 2 in the morning. She got into town, and I went and grabbed that CD. I just about had a heart attack. I thought, I'm going to be on original. I'm just losing my self-esteem left and right. So that was kind of my experience of learning what it is to expect. Mm-hmm. And then, like the morning show I came out, and I didn't didn't know. They say, go out and find the judges. This was a funny one. Find the judges. I trained with a judge back at home in Utah for a week before I came, and he showed me a lot of hard poses. And we get up on stage, and they're like, don't pose hard, you're not bodybuilders. And all these guys are going to have to throw up double buys, like musculars, and the guy's screaming at me, don't do that. Well, that's what I practice. Shoot. Okay, just find the judges, do your thing, make sure they're looking at you, and that's what they say. And once again, I've never done it. So I come out there, and all I can see is my mom's white hair in the background. Because the judges, they don't tell you this. The judges don't sit front row. They're the second row back. So I come out, and as soon as I don't see them, I look up, and there's my mom. I smile, but they don't look down at your spot. I look down at my spot. It was such an overwhelming 30-second experience,
right?
Where you learn 1,000% what it is that needs to happen for the PM show. And I think I did a lot better in the night show, and that might have helped me. Mm-hmm. But as far as watching the video and then experiencing it's 2 totally different things.
Oh, wow! So you did everything wrong and still wound up.
Well, I throw myself under the bus here to make it fun as well. I didn't do things right. Well, am I going to come on your show and tell you how great I am?
I mean, you know what? Let me do that for you. You know what I mean? That's what you do. Okay, when we come back from the break, Dave, I want to know, has your perspective changed as far as the respect that you now have for bodybuilders and fitness competitors? Since you're just coming from the world of, for lack of a better term, physique modeling. All right, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to The Body Shop. We'll be right back.
Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS, world's first fitness radio, will keep you moving. Thank you for breaking new ground with FTNS, world's first fitness radio. FTNS Radio reaches out to over 70 million online radio listeners in North America who can log in via the web at ftns.co from any computer, mobile device, or download the free FTNS iPhone app. FTNS Radio will include a wide range of shows such as strength training, bodybuilding and figure, nutrition, motivation, family, youth, elderly fitness, wellness, lifestyle fitness, interviews with professionals and enthusiasts, and much more. Programming will contain a mixture of live studio shows that encourage listeners to call 650-ASK-FTNS or tweet in. Shows hosted over the phone, as well as remote recorded shows where our hosts travel to the story. FTNS Radio is the missing link to help make fitness personal and create a stronger community. FTNS helps listeners to focus, train, nourish, sustain, and foster the fitness community. Follow FTNS on Facebook.com/GoFTNS. Stay tuned for more exciting new shows as we build the fitness community brick by brick. Tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern for Fit You. Your hosts, John and Kelly, will discuss fitness, nutrition, and a lifestyle that will fit you. At noon Eastern, it's time for Jumpstart. Chad and Kat will help you sort through all the fitness myths with the experts in a high-energy format that will definitely pump you up. Listen in to Your Health is Your Wealth with Dr. Cindy at 1 p.m. Eastern. Naturopathic Dr. Cindy Anderson will help you understand your body from a holistic approach. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, listen to The Nutrition Scoop with nutritionist Jerry Zatkoff. She will cover the latest and ever-changing nutrition information. The Body Shop at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's no accident. Hosts Andre Bricks, St. Clair, and Brian Canone share with you the reality of the bodybuilding and fitness modeling industry as they follow challengers through the Fitness Atlantic competition. This is FTNS.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Body Shop. I am your host, Andre Bricks St. Clair, my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone, and on the line we have Mr. David Kimmerle. Now, right before the break, Dave gave us a lot of interesting background information on him. You know, what his inspiration was is that his uncle was Mr. Utah, and Dave used to hang from his uncle's biceps. You know, I remember doing that to some of the bigger guys, you know, when I was a little psych and I was trying to come up. Dave also mentioned that, you know, he's adopted, so don't think by any stretch of the imagination that this guy had an easy life, right? When the market crashed, he actually went bankrupt, was doing construction, and it seems to me, now Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but your ex-girlfriend was the one that got you your first exposure into the modeling world, you know, and now you kind of use her as, like, you know, fuel for the fire, so to speak. All right. You've been on 30 covers in less than 3 years, and you was telling us the difference in what you learned to expect competing at the WBFF within the evening wear round and the sports wear round and the theme wear round. Now, what I want to know is, having learned all of that, having learned what not to do, you know, go out there, you got to find the judges. You didn't see the judges. They told you not to look at your spot. Okay, you saw your mom sitting there, you know, smiling at you. You smiled back and you looked down at your spot. You did everything that you were not supposed to do. And you still wound up placing second, which is an amazing thing for your first time out. What I want to know is, has your attitude or perspective changed towards fitness competitors, being that you're coming from the fitness modeling world?
You know, it really has. You know, once again, I kind of grew up being a large fan of the bodybuilding. You know, I'd see these guys morph, literally drop 20, 30 pounds, change their physiques, tighten their skin. And so as I felt like I was somewhat doing that for a cover, I just had really no idea what I was really going to get into when I started to compete. You know, I took a month of work. I didn't do anything. I just needed to learn, and it is a learning curve. So my respect to the guys that actually get on stage. Okay. You know, and there's plenty of edified guys that are not getting on stage, and many more that are. I want to be in the group that can take a picture that will help somebody sell something. And personally, what's my potential? That's how this whole thing kept going. My potential can only be found out on stage with that carrot dangling in front of me, knowing that somebody else wants it as bad as I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, with that being said, okay, how important do you feel competition is? Like, do you feel that you need to compete in order to basically solidify who you are as an individual?
Once again, going back to personally, yes.
Okay.
And in the beginning, it was all personal.
Okay.
In retrospect, and I can't say I was as smart, I was hoping, but in retrospect, I don't think I would have got signed had I had another 10 covers this year. And once again, 10 covers, that's $3,000. I don't know how many of you guys have house payments out there.
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Well, you know what I mean?
Right.
So edify yourself as much as you can, and stage is 50% of it. I was doing 50% of the work.
Right.
If you're a man and you go to work every day and you really want to be good at your job, you'd better do the other 50%.
That's right. That's right.
So
Those are key words to live by.
I'm gonna be eating until they kick me out of that stage.
Okay, so now, what do you have your eyes set on now as far as your next competition?
The WBFF World Championships, the #1 spot.
And that will be taking place when?
That'll be in August.
Yep.
Okay.
August 27th.
August 27th?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Toronto again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Same. Yeah. They moved it from September to August.
Okay.
This year.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, Dave.
Yes.
August 27th, 2011 comes around. Okay? You're on stage. You're presenting your best possible package. You've done all you can. You stand there, and you either hear myself or you hear the other announcer say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2011 WBFF World's Fitness Model Champion, Mr. Dave Kimberly." Tell me what goes through your mind just hearing those words possibly being prophesized over you.
Man, you are a good announcer.
Hopefully, remind me to send you a check for that comment, man.
I'm sitting here right now, and I got chills.
Oh, no.
I can read this stuff. I can show you my room. It is. They say you got to have an inspiration wall. I have inspiration walls up. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a dog. I don't have a man.
Oh man, that's.
I'd probably stand there and say a little prayer and definitely say thank you and then go in the back and give my family a big hug and say thanks for not giving up on me.
That's right. That's right. Okay, now as we're talking about family, okay, let's talk a little bit about your diet and how that has changed as you're getting ready to compete again. Mm-hmm. Okay, so walk me through like what's a typical diet day for you, but I don't want you to give away any of your secrets. Just give me the gist of it.
You know what? I'm so new, I don't even know the secrets. You need to give them to me.
I tell you what, I got a book coming out called Stage Ready. You go on to fitnessatlantic.com.
You asked a good question. I didn't really touch on it before.
Okay.
What's another of the big difference between being on a cover and getting on stage?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, it's thousands of pages of reading. Mm-hmm. Because they can take 500 pictures and they need one. And then you've got post. They can do what they want with it. On stage, you don't have that.
Okay.
And so I've spent a lot of time with my nose in the pages trying to read and understand fats and sugars and carbs. And, they got all these crazy different diets. What is the true bodybuilder diet? And can a fitness guy be on a bodybuilder diet? So basically, my pre-contest is, or let's say my daily right now. I consider myself a contest right now. I'm about 23 weeks out.
Okay.
I'm in a somewhat of a bulking stage. I need to put on some muscle in my legs, right? And I can't do that negative calories.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm sitting basically at about 30 to 40 grams of really healthy fats. And I'm sitting at about 220 to 240 grams of protein. And how I get those calories, whether I'm getting the fat and the protein in the same meal or, I take a borage oil, for instance, and that really gives me quite a good amount of fat. Mm-hmm. The difference in my calories, whether I'm negative or positive for my resting metabolic rate, which is right around 2,600, is carbs.
Okay.
So that's kind of the variable for me, and I've been able to simplify it that way.
You know what? Now, just hearing you speak about your basic metabolic rate, your carbs, the amount of protein that you're taking in, as well as the fat grams, seems to me, and I mean this with all due respect, please understand, seems to me like you're one of these people that has literally done the research,
absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
Like you stated in the second segment that when you was going through the all-you-can-eat phase, and then you got a call, hey, I need you in 5 days to shoot for this cover in the morning. It doesn't matter what you say, we want you. And you just went and just ran and ran and ran and ran and did all the cardio. Since that time to where you are now, to actually know about your micronutrients, your macronutrients, to hear you speak about that, again, with all due respect, it just seems like you're one of these competitors that takes time and does their homework and understand what actually fuels your body. So that's just an amazing testament to you.
You can't win without it, and you cannot further your career. The equation I started with worked really well for me. It was basically 200 grams of fastest acting sugar you could find only during your workout. And I followed the understanding that your body will take 50% of the carbs you put into it today and use it as fuel. And the other 50 it'll store as fat.
Wow.
But around your workout, it'll use 60% as fuel and store 40% as muscle glycogen. That worked really, really well for me for a year. But then my body just said, you know what, the heck with you. It's like doing cardio for a straight year. It doesn't work the next.
Right.
And so what I did is I freaked out, and I started throwing my nose in the book. And I didn't have a lot of friends, man, and especially as I started to do okay, nobody wanted to be my friend. Nobody's giving me any tips. So I shoved my nose into these books. I bought a heart rate monitor, and now I'm running with my heart rate at a certain rate, and it holds me accountable. I'm huge into accountability. How do I know if I'm trying? If I just did a set of sit-ups or, say, a set of chins, and I didn't hit the number I was supposed to get, but how do I know I really tried? My body said it tried. I think I tried. My abs hurt, whatever. But if my heart rate monitor says at the end of those, say, chin-ups, my heart rate was 140, 150, that means I tried. If it was 100, you get your butt somewhere. And I even helped it even further. I went out and bought a body bug. So now I know exactly what my resting metabolic rate is while I'm sleeping.
Wow.
So I'm wearing this rate monitor. I got this body bug on my arm. I'm all technically just trying to relieve the anxiety, basically, that I'm trying as hard as I can, acknowledging that I am all natural. I don't use steroids.
Thank you. Right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I personally want to thank you for that. I'm sure some of my listeners will not appreciate what I'm about to say, but you know what? I'll be honest. I love the all-natural guys. What it means to me is that you took the time, you've put your work in, you've done the research, you've done your homework, and you experiment on your body with what was God-given to you. You're not one of these people that go out there, take a foreign substance, put it into your body, build what's known as the fake muscles, step on the stage, and then say, I'm all natural. To me, that's garbage. So, you know what, thank you. Kudos to you on that.
Yeah, and word, man, you get on stage, and I can see why it is some we can't afford testing right now as we're getting bigger. But there's some anxiety when you get on there, knowing that, the guy standing next to me, for instance, I'll tell it like this. The biggest paying job I had so far, they flew me to Oregon, 2 of us.
Okay.
And there's a gentleman in there, I don't have to use his name, but he had acne all over his back, and he had a great... And I thought, you know what? As I'm watching this guy, and the industry set up around it to make it basically transparent to the viewer that he's ever used. So this lady literally has what you spray a car with, a little tank, a little compressor, and she's spraying down his back, right?
Oh.
You could not tell that this guy ever touched a thing. And it crossed my mind, and I went, I'm an emotional guy. I called my dad. I said, Dad, this happens. And what if they only had room for one guy?
Right.
They've called him. And that blew me away. You know what I mean? And then going back to the comment about natural, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I find the most respect. I've got a gentleman that I'm now friends with who is a professional bodybuilder, and he does use steroids. I'm obviously a huge fan of the sport, but where I found my respect for this gentleman above and all was when I was talking to him about how his experience from natural bodybuilding into professional bodybuilding. And he had won the biggest title in America for natural. And he came in at like 178 or something, shredded, ridiculous for his height, right?
Right.
They're not tall. He sat across the dinner table with his wife and said, look, we're not paying the bills this way. And, the market at that time, a few years ago before this fitness deal starting to swing it around, really isn't going to allow for this. He couldn't forecast any sort of change.
Right. And you know what? That's highly unfortunate. Now, Dave, if somebody wants to hear more of your story and they want to get in touch with you, is there some way that they can reach you?
Yeah, I have a .com, davidkimmerle.com. You can go ahead and message me there. I've got a fan page on Facebook and, a couple of different ways. That's probably the best.
All right. Now, just for our listeners, just spell your last name, just so that when they actually type it in, they get you directly.
It's pronounced Kimmerle. So it's K-I, M as in Mary, M as in Mary, E-R-L-E.
All right. So, Dave, I would like to personally thank you for calling into the Body Shop. I want to wish you good luck this coming August 27, 2011.
Can we do that announcement one more time before we leave?
Is that what you want to hear?
Let's hear that announcement.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the next name I pronounce will be your 2011 WBFF World's Fitness Men Modeling Champion. Please put your hands together for Mr. David Kimberly. Hey, Dave, man, thank you for calling into the Body Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, along with my co-host, Mr. Brian Canone. And always remember this, man, success breeds envy, all right? The best way to get back at somebody is sweet revenge. The best of the best, listen to FTNS. Gotta go. I'll see you when I see you.
Thanks, Dave.